chip. It gets put in your hand. If you're chipped, you're controlled at all times. You're constantly being watched. You're saying with like babies will be coming in and getting chipped.
You got him chipped, yeah? Can't do anything without a chip.
A generation of purely technologically minded people will just be told that it's a chip and they won't even know what it was like to use cash. It'll just be cashless and it'll be a norm.
Media can use to be controlled like basically the masses. They can tell you anything. They can literally, it's literally a mind control technique to control the population. Everything you do is just monitored all the time, even though you think it's not. It just is. I wouldn't class us as a human race as free, because I feel like we're just slaves to the system. Modern society as you are now, if you said, I'm going to get rid of all my phone and everything, you almost can't function in society anymore without being monitored. You definitely don't think people should just like limit themselves to being like living for the weekend, because you do 5 days of your life, unless you fucking love your job, you actually are just wishing away your life. Are they government surveillance bots? Are they created and manufactured by the government? In a modern society, this is basically as free as you can get. How do, boys? Welcome to the second episode of the ChitChat Crunchy Podcast. Prepare to get your mind blown, because today we're doing some conspiracies. I'm here with Matthew.
Conspiracy co-host 2.
That's the one.
A quick disclaimer before this even continues. The word conspiracy itself is put out there to put shade on anything that we're about to say. So if we say conspiracy, people think stupid. So straight away, conspiracy amongst a conspiracy. And the second thing is, anything said in here is either research or our opinions. And if you'd like to look into more of it yourself, just look online, because obviously we don't have a long time to look into it.
So the conspiracy we're going to talk about today is the government and how they control us, and a bit about what it means to be free as a human. So leave your thoughts in the comments and we'll get on with it. Like, what would you say your definition of like a good life is? Like,
oh fucking hell!
Like,
what a nice easy question to start with.
This will lead on to shit. So obviously everyone's got like the dream life. Everyone's like, oh, I'd love to be a footballer, or YouTuber, or something, or a hockey player. Yeah, anything you want, mate. But like a good standard life, like.
Well, that's the thing. The difference between a good standard life and the actual a good life, because you're brought up to think, I want to have a nice house and a nice car and settle down.
Yeah.
Which is, it's almost a blueprint.
And a good job.
Yeah. To be fair, a good job is what you can take you to go and do stuff like that and have a good life. But a good job sometimes isn't always actually a good job. It's just something that's going to fund your materialistic want for a car or a big house.
Exactly. What is the definition of a good job? Because I talked to a lot of people like round here where we live and a good job for them is just a job that pays a lot of money. But like, I wouldn't say like, if it gets you 60 grand a year, that's like, it's a good wage and it pays a good wage. But if you think it's boring, you go into work hating it, coming out of it every day and like literally just living for the weekend, what is so good about that job? Do you know what I mean? Like, It's just the wage that's good, and then why is it born and bred to us that we have to get?
Just always doing a serious thing rather than being like la 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 la. Now we're going serious side to us.
I know, but like, why is it born and bred like into us from a child that like when you grow up you're gonna get a nice house and a nice car and you're gonna have a marriage and have kids? That's literally like the structure of life, and like that's literally, is the government like controlling us to think that is our only way of life, in order to produce more workers so we can get all the energy for them and everything. Do you know what I mean?
I think the main point that we're about to cover is the idea of having a good house is like a target set, and the way to achieve it is by getting a job that essentially keeps the cogs turning for the government and keeps the big money going to them, and we just get pence in comparison with what's going into the system to eventually get the car that's like gets to north to 60 in 4 seconds quicker, even though the speed limit's already set anyways.
Yeah, no, you can't even go much faster than 100 anyway. We get banged up. But it's not even like you're told that, oh, this is what you should want. Like, this is what you should. Since you're a kid, you're told when you're older you need a good house, you need a car to get around so you can get to work. Because how are you going to work? How are you going to bloody work? How are you going to work if you can't get there? You've got to get to work, son. Well, because you'll never get your good house.
Yeah, but I think
you'll never get your nice car. So, but then when people try and break out of this mold is when like it all just comes like you can't, basically. Should you be allowed to be a billionaire? should you allowed to hoard, like, be a billionaire, but should you be allowed to hoard multiple billions in your bank? Because you cannot spend it in a lifetime.
If they've got it, they've got it.
I know, but I think you should, like, what should happen, what should be, it's still your money, but after $1 billion, you have to say what you're doing with that money. You can't just sit on it. Do you know what I mean?
But then you've kind of just contradicted our being freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because the government want to know what you're doing with your money. In relation to control, we've gone from my example of it is growing up. We've always paid with cash and coins, and with technology advancing, that's moved on to cards and credit cards, which is essentially made all money, well, most money, especially for our age group and coming up behind us, it's all digital. If it's digital, it almost doesn't exist, and it means that it can get tracked, and it's just a lot easier to control people if all the spending is being monitored on a database. So we've gone from cash to card, which you put in a machine, to now contactless cards, which in my opinion can't get much more simple than that. Take it out, you want to go like this, but because we're getting lazier as humans and convenience is key, the next step for this, alongside wearing technology,
Apple Watches and that,
from this, it'll then go to what we believe, and a lot of people do believe, which will be a chip that gets put in your hand, which probably sounds a bit stupid at this point, but in about 10 years' time, you can imagine people wearing more technology, putting VARs, what are they called? VRs, not VARs.
VAR.
Putting VARs on the red and telling Sterling he's getting off the fucking pitch. But essentially, as soon as we get chipped, that makes you more of almost like cattle. If you're chipped, you're controlled at all times. You can take your watch off, you could leave your phone at home. But if we had chips, you're constantly being watched. And people can say, I'm not getting chipped, but put it this way, if you're going to work in a certain place when the chips come in, you won't be allowed to work there unless you have a chip. And then some banks will probably start bringing it in by saying you can't have an account with us unless you've got your chip, because it's much easier for contactless. And we'll just say, oh yeah, it's easy, it's convenient, but it's in your body then, and then it's invasive. And if you want to look into that, people in Sweden are already doing it, and I think they trialled it in London.
And back in the day, like 30 years ago or something, I just think it'd be absolutely stupid to be walking around with something in your pocket, which you could like use to pay, and you'd be able to go through the internet. The internet wasn't even a thing, and now it's reality. Like people like maybe our age or thing will think, oh, I'm never getting a chip, that's stupid, that'll never come into thing. But if you look at what happened 30 years ago and what was happening 30 years ago and what was happening now, eventually it'll be like literally you have an Alexa in your home, like that's basically listening to you at all times. Like people would never thought that's happening. They'd be like, if you said to someone 30 years ago, there's going to be something in your home that listens to you all the time until you give it commands, they'd be like, fuck that, I'm not having that in my home. But because it's easy and you can set a timer and you don't have to go on your phone to put music on, it's like, oh, that's convenient, I'll just use this and completely get rid of all my privacy by having someone listening to me. It's become the norm, so more and more people get it and it becomes the norm. So as more and more people, say it's starting in Sweden, people are already doing it, as that becomes more and more normal and more and more people get it, eventually as soon as you come out the womb, oh bang! Chip in your hand, it'll just be, that's what you need. Here, have you got him chipped, yeah? Can't do anything without a chip, can't get to work for us, so I don't know, you're not going to get very far without a chip, you can scan to get in the gym, it's so easy, you don't have to get your card out, your wallet and go like this or something like that. But get it on your chip. By saying that, you're saying with like babies will be coming in and getting chipped, our generation is, I'd say the peak, like 20-year-olds, we still kind of know what it was like to pay with cash, but anyone younger than us, it's just going to be the norm. So when our dads and granddads and all them, once that generation's flushed out, a generation of purely technologically minded people will just be told that it's a chip, and they won't even know what it was like to use cash. It'll just be cashless and it'll be a norm. That makes so much sense. Yeah, no, actually does. Because like if you went into a house now, right, and they were like, oh, put some music on, and they went fucking digging through drawers, tried getting an iPod out, and they were like shuffling through songs, you'd be like, just get an Alexa, mate. You just tell it what to do. But like that'll exactly how chips will get involved. People will be like, are you gonna pay for this? Yeah, let me just get my chip and pin out. What you doing, mate? Get a fucking chip in your hand, son. It's well easy. Pants on me. Pants on me. Get a chip, son. Onto like where like the media just like affects your everyday life. Like media can use to be to control like basically the masses. Well, it can form opinions, and if you compare it to like 20 years ago, when like obviously the news and television was just coming about, and there was maybe one headline a week, but now it's a brand new headline, whether it's on Snapchat or whatever. It's a new headline every day for something else,
and we shouldn't be absorbing so much like news all the time, because it's not necessary to be constantly told it's doom and gloom, we're gonna die, she's died, he's died, and it's just constant conditioning.
The amount of shit the news speaks is like unreal, and we both know it. And people out there are obviously aware of fake news because it's out and about all the time. Like people pick and choose which like broadcasting, like television, ones they want to believe. So they'll be like, oh, I don't believe the Sun, that's bullshit. But I believe BBC and Sky. But BBC and Sky, they could come together and be like, right, let's just fucking prank everyone.
Yeah, that's what they'll say.
Let's just have a big old like, let's just bamboozle everyone and tell them Japan has sunk. It's just slipped under. You know what I mean? But they could broadcast it, and like the majority of people, like unless you'd be like the majority of people, because they trust Sky and BBC would be like, fucking hell, have you heard Japan sunk? You know what I mean? But like obviously, you can fly to Japan and be like, it's fucking still here. Do you know what I mean? They can tell you anything. And they can literally, it's literally a mind control technique to control the population. The government are obviously listening to us like all the time.
What do you mean? You said that as if to say like it's a definite given.
Oh well, right. So what I mean is, in our group chat before, right, our mate put one sentence in about erectile dysfunction, I think. And then then he put a message in.
That's not nobody names.
Yeah,
no, that's not me.
No, it's definitely not me. Then he put a message in like 2 minutes later saying, I've just had 3 adverts for erectile dysfunction and I've never like mentioned it in my life.
And I asked, have you Googled it at any point or been looking like into it in any way? And he said, no, I've just put it in this group chat. And I was like, how is that possibly end up on your Facebook?
Everything you do is just monitored all the time, even though you think it's not. It just is. And then that basically leads on to like what as a human, what is the definition of freedom? Like what would you class as being free?
I'd say what Lado does on it in the wild when he just takes off,
goes off,
and lives in a bus. But spoiler, he dies, so it's not that appealing.
Obviously that's free, but even where he's at, he's still under law. Do you know what I mean? Like is a world where humans, there's no laws and you can basically do whatever the fuck you want. Is that the definition of freedom? Just to be, is that truly being free?
I don't know. I think that probably maybe at one time it was like that, but they had to bring laws in because it's I can't answer that question at all. Yeah. I have no idea.
It's a hard one, like, but then obviously you go to like, I wouldn't class us as a human race as free because I feel like we're just slaves to the system, as we basically know we are. But if there was just like a basic law, but you can still do whatever you want, which is pretty much now. Do you feel free right now? Like we can technically do whatever we want, but we are monitored. We are listened to all the time.
That's the thing. Where I disagree, we can, if we want to, demonitor ourselves. We could just get rid of our phones. We could get rid of our Alexas, and it would be hard.
You still watch through, like wherever you go, there's still cameras.
I know, but you could limit it massively.
But then, as in the modern society as you are now, if you said, I'm going to get rid of all my phone and everything, you almost can't function in society anymore without being monitored. It's like it's bred into society now that you actually need a phone. You wouldn't be able to hold down a job if you didn't have a phone, probably. You wouldn't, because you're not contactable if you didn't have an email or anything. The only job you'd be able to hold down is probably being like, I don't know what you'd be. I was going to say an artist, but then you still need to sell your shit, and that's going to be online unless you do it at a market stall, mate. But I don't know. But like you'd probably struggle to function without
fisherman.
A fisherman, yeah. You can be a fisher if you don't want to be monitored. Be a fisherman, son. It's the only way.
Seems pretty free.
So say we're living now. This is basically in a modern society. This is basically as free as you can get. So you do have to get a job because you need money to survive. And obviously, but you don't have to spend it on having a nice car and shit like that. But what I'm saying is, should working like a 9 to 5 days a week, and living for the weekend, should that be your amount of freedom? I definitely don't think people should just like limit themselves to being like living for the weekend, because you do 5 days of your life, unless you fucking love your job, you actually are just wishing away your life.
Well, like, as soon as Monday comes around, most people are just saying, I can't wait for the weekend, but
yeah, and then after the weekend they go, I can't wait for payday, you know what I mean? And so if you get about, 8 in a month is 4 weeks, so you get 8 days out of that month to actually live your life, or maybe if you get like at the end of Friday, but 5 of them days you're going, fucking hell, come on, do you know what, like you proper are wishing your life away. That's why.
But we're getting into like jobs shouldn't be about and stuff. I know we've said like what jobs.
It just mean like about freedom, like how much, because obviously our freedom is technically just regulated by like you need money, so you're gonna have to work 5 days of your life to get the money to be able to start pissing it down, to get the money to be able to live your life on the weekend. I definitely think if you do a job that you like, then it's not as thing, but you still need to work, is what I'm saying. Should you get more of a weekend? Yes. Give me a fucking extra day, son.
So if you'd like to sign the petition, we have decided we're going to put a petition together for a 3-day weekend.
Yeah, so this was a 16-minute video, and in conclusion what we're asking for is a 3-day weekend. So please, petition links in the bio.
We almost just threw away everything we said. We just sound like two just spoiled kids going, we don't want to go to work 5 days a week, we want a longer weekend. Basically, we understand that that's life and you've got to work, but we're just discussing potential.
Just discussing the amount of freedom as a human that you get, and is it worth it? Tie the noose, son. One last thing to close it out. Baby pigeons. Have you ever seen one? I don't think you have, like.
Yeah, well, when I thought about that the other day, I was like, no, I haven't.
No one's seen a baby pigeon. Are they?
Government surveillance
are they
bots?
Government surveillance bots? Are they created and they're manufactured by the government to spy on us?
No, they're not. But
how would you know?
Because we have seen them get run over.
I know, but there could be some alien technology that made by goo.
Maybe.
You actually wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, you can eat pigeon. You can as well. They do like pigeon dinners.
maybe they put
rabbits,
a couple real ones and then a couple spy ones. Like the ones you see sitting on like lampposts and you're like, you are there every day, fella.
Yeah, when I first heard this, I was like listening. I was thinking, maybe, and then they started going, yeah, you can kill. Well, when they get ran over, there's blood, and you can eat them as well. So
yeah, but maybe because the government surveillance bots. maybe just like. The government are hiding alien technology, and we all know it.
So like everyone knows.
They know it as well. It's just hiding alien technology. Maybe the alien technology is that advanced. It's in the meat. It actually is in the meat. The heart.
Oh, is he still on about pigeons?
Oh yes, son. Oh yes. It's in the meat. The heart is beating. That sends a signal back to the signal box.
I don't agree on this one. Just for the record, I don't want to.
So you're saying no?
I don't want to come across totally insane.
So you're saying no, they're not.
I don't think that government surveillance bots.
No, I don't.
What about in other countries that don't have pigeons? Do they have government surveillance rabbits?
Government surveillance beaver? I don't know.
Government surveillance sand? Nah, I don't think so.
Nah, I also don't think that the pigeons are government.
You said it now, mate.
But actually, speaking of that, what about if they're not? You know how we trained pigeons for World War One, right?
No.
World War Two. And they were carrier pigeons and they used to carry notes.
Oh, right, yeah.
What about if now they trained them that hard that they just look and they go back and just tell people what's going on? That Matthew Williams, he went to the shop the other day. Alright, I'll be off, back to my lamppost. Do you know what I mean? You don't know?
But wherever there's a pigeon, there's a security camera anyways.
If in World War II they could train pigeons to carry notes, I'd say 30 years later we've went from black and white TV to mobile phones. We could train pigeons probably from notes
to have a
full on to have a crack, to have a full on crack. Probably go for a pint down local and that. You never know, do you? Yeah, I just like I don't agree that pigeons are surveillance bots or working for the government. And I think if you actually do believe that, you'd probably go insane. You'd think you just you actually probably would.
You brought it up.
I know, but yeah, so that's the end of the podcast.
And obviously the purpose of this isn't to tell everyone what it is and what everything's going on. This is just something that we always speak about, and we thought maybe we could tell some other people and they might be interested in it.
Yeah, it's all just like opinions, food for thought, just like pigeons are food for your stomach. Yeah, that's the end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and a subscribe, and watch out for those pigeons because they're gonna get you. See you later.